So good morning students. Our today's topic is biosafety concerns and issues in genetically modified organisms. So before going in the detail of the topic, we will know a little bit about why there is the need of concerns, biosafety concerns for in generating the genetically modified organisms. Okay. So as we know that the recombinant DNA technology uses the microorganisms. It involves different types of microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, etc. And these microorganisms may pose risk to the worker associated with the development of genetically modified organisms. So these organisms may pose risk. Okay. So what is the risk? It is the probability of harm. How much harmful a particular microorganism can be for the worker. So before using a particular type of biological agent in rDNA technology, there is the need of the risk analysis, okay, associated with that particular microorganism. So how can we analyze the risk? Generally it consists of risk analysis consists of three steps: risk assessment, risk management, and the risk communication. So what is the meaning of the risk assessment? It means to evaluate uh, the ability of the particular microorganism in causing the disease or the serious consequences to the workers. So risk can be assessed by comparing the scientific evidences related to these microorganisms. And second thing is the risk management. It is the development of the strategies to prevent and control the risk within the acceptable limits, and it relies on the risk assessment. Okay. अगर assessment ठीक नहीं हो रहा particular microorganism का, you cannot develop good management practices. Then third is the risk communication. It involves the dialogue between the regulators and the public about the risk and options to manage risk, okay, so that appropriate decision can be made. Means once you have prepared the GMOs and you are not communicating in better way to the public, then there will be chaos among the people about the GMOs. Okay. So these all things means the risks, mainly the risk of using the GMOs has led the biosafety concerns and the regulation. Why do we need to know about the biosafety regulations? Okay. So biosafety means the need to protect human and animal health and environment from the possible adverse effects of the products of modern biotechnology. As per CBD definition, biosafety is a term used to describe efforts to reduce and eliminate the potential risks resulting from the modern biotechnology and its product. Okay, so how can we protect the animals as well as our environment? Generally by adopting the certain guidelines given by the regulatory agencies time to time. Okay, so initially these biosafety guidelines were applied to only pharmaceutical and microbiological research labs with regard to maintain the occupational health and safety of the environment. However, with the advent of these biotech tools like rDNA and GMOs, there was these were then extended to the handling and transportation of such genetically modified organisms. Okay, so biosafety mainly defines the containment conditions under which the infectious agents can be safely manipulated. So now what do you mean by the containment? So containment are the safety measures which prevent the escaping of genetically engineered organism from the lab into the environment. And what are these safety measures? These safety measures are the judicious use of lab procedures, equipment, and the host vector system. These are designed in such a way that they may minimize the accidental release of organisms, their dissemination, and survival in the environment. Okay, and what is the purpose of adopting these safety measures? Generally to reduce the exposure of lab workers to the infectious agent as well as to other person and the environment, outside environment, to these biological agents. So as per recommendation of World Health Organization, there are two type of containments, physical and the biological containments. And in physical containments, it involves the use of certain physical methods inside the lab to prevent the escaping of genetically engineered organism to the environment. And these methods generally include the use of air filtration so that the organisms may not escape from the lab through exhaust system. When there is, if there is exhaust system, it should be studied with the filters. Then the use of sterilization lights like UV light to kill the any trace of the biological agent. Then proper disposal of waste as well as the protective handling. And biological containment involves the formulation of certain biological principle used in lab to prevent the escape of microbes. So biological containment makes the organism unable to survive in the outside environment and also prevents the spreading of vector DNA to the organisms outside the lab by usual conjugation, transformation or transduction methods. So they are made so weak, so feeble, if accidentally they are escaped, they would not be able to spread by their usual reproductive methods. So depending upon the source of the donor DNA, means which type of organism we are using in our lab, and its disease producing potential, is how much risk it may pose to the worker or the environment. There are 4 biosafety levels, which are also known as P1, P2, P3 and P4. We will study in detail one by one. Biosafety level 1 or BL1, so it is appropriate for the undergraduate and secondary educational training and teaching laboratories. Okay, where the defined and characterized strains of known harmful microorganisms are used, like non-pathogenic E. coli. Okay, so here just you need just the basic precautionary measure. Okay, there is no need of any sophisticated facilities to curb these microorganisms. Okay, second is the biosafety level 2. It is applicable in clinical, diagnostic, teaching and other facilities where the work involves the broad spectrum of indigenous moderate risk agents are used. Okay, means the risk due to the microorganism is not so severe that it may prove fatal to the workers, but the lab personnel, they require specific trainings of handling these pathogens, and generally they are supervised by the competent scientist. Here the access to the lab is controlled, that everybody is not allowed to enter, if allowed with some conditions. Okay, another is the biosafety level 3. It is also applicable to clinical, diagnostic, teaching, research and other facilities in which work is done with indigenous or exotic agents, where the potential for infection by aerosols is real and the disease may have serious or fatal consequences. Okay, so there are the chances of spreading the disease through aerosol, contagious जिसे हम बोलते हैं, एक से दूसरे को फैल रही है. Here again the lab personnel require specific training of handling the pathogen and also supervised by the scientist. More strictly controlled access to the lab is there. Okay, so here all the procedures which involve the manipulation of the infectious material are conducted within safety cabinets, specially designed hoods and other physical containment devices. The personnel have to wear appropriate protective clothing and the equipment. Next is the biosafety level 4, and it is applicable to work with the dangerous and exotic agents which pose a high individual risk of the threatening disease. Okay, if a person is working with the viruses like Ebola virus, so he is at the great risk of fatal disease. Okay, so in this case, the personnel required to wear special pressure personal suit with segregated air supply, and the labs consist of vacuum room, UV light room, and all other precautions required to destroy all traces of biohazards. So what is the aim of putting the biosafety guidelines? Just to minimize the possibility of occasional release of genetically engineered organism from the lab, banning the release of GMOs if they are supposed to be potential risk in the environment, and also to regulate the rDNA research with organisms that have least or no adverse effects. So the regulatory agencies have also given some guidelines for the general labs also, means like food storage, eating, drinking are prohibited in lab, then mouth pipetting is prohibited, lab coats are obligatory and they should be removed when you exit the lab. Again, your working surface must be decontaminated using soap and alcohol. Waste product must be decontaminated either by incineration or by autoclaving. Then avoid contact with GMOs. Okay, disposable gloves should be worn. Lab door should be closed at all times. Biohazard warning sign should be always posted in labs. So there always remain the issues in the release of genetically modified organisms. Once you have prepared, once you have uh, made the GMOs, the release of these commercially release of these GMOs has always been in some controversy. So why these GMOs remain in controversy? Because of several risks associated with the release of these GMOs. What kind of risk? Risk of toxicity, risk of allergy, a risk of generating antibiotic resistance in the animals, also risk of susceptibility of non-target organisms, means these non-target organisms may become resistant. It may alter the use of chemical in the agriculture. ये हमने एग्जांपल्स में भी पढ़ा है. When herbicide resistant crops are produced, more and more indiscriminate use of chemicals, herbicides has been started. Okay, then unpredictable gene expression or transgene instability. Okay, that is gene silencing. So we will study in another chapter about gene silencing. Then risk of generation of super weeds. If a weed get the transgene, it may acquire the property of insect resistance, herbicide resistance, pest resistance, so it may become super weed, or it may alter the nutritional value. Okay, it may attract some other kind of pests on it, or change in the cost of agriculture, means because once the GMOs are produced, they are costlier than the traditional varieties. Ultimately the cost of agriculture practices get changed. Then loss of change in agriculture practices means the farmer has shifted from polyculture to monoculture, and monoculture, there are many drawbacks of monoculture. It leads to the genetic erosion. Okay, so these are the risks which are associated with the genetically modified organisms. And this is the international agency, International Council for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology. Generally, it provides information on the biosafety and risk assessment for the environmental release of GMOs, with special regards to need of the developing world. So this is all about our biosafety concerns and issues in GMOs. So if you have any question, you may ask to me. Thank you.